While the rest of the NFL spent the deadline screaming about blockbuster trades we didn't make, the Lions just pulled one of those moves only people who actually watch this team understand on sight. It's not loud, it's not sexy on graphics, but it is violent, smart, and very on brand for a locker room that has zero tolerance for soft edges. This is Lions News Fan Report. I'm here with you like always, one of you. And tonight I'm breaking down the latest roster shakeup, what really sits behind it, why this staff keeps going back to the same kind of player, and how this decision fits the bigger picture of a team chasing something way bigger than a cute NFC North banner. If you stay with me till the end, you're going to walk away knowing exactly why this move matters and where it could quietly tilt games in our favor down the stretch. Let's start where it hurts. The margin games. You've seen it. We're in that phase where Detroit isn't the underdog story anymore, it's the hunted. Opponents are building their weeks around exposing small cracks. Coverage bust here, lane discipline there, a bad punt phase that flips the field, missed tackles on 3rd and 6 that keep drives alive. Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn have been brutally honest. If this team loses its edge in the little things, all the culture talk is just noise. Every snap on teams, every depth piece in the third wave of the defense either keeps the standard or drags it down. And when you start taking injuries in the wrong spots, when the legs get heavy late in the year, that's where you find out if your 46th, 51st, 53rd man is a passenger or a problem solver. That's the backdrop for all the "why didn't we add a star at the deadline" whining. The front office made a different call. Protect core chemistry, don't force a panic trade, and tighten the screws with guys who already fit the way we play. No headline confetti, just moves aimed at making sure you don't lose a playoff game because your coverage unit can't get a hat on anybody or your backup linebacker can't line up right. And right after the deadline smoke cleared, they gave you the latest piece of that identity. Ty Summers back on this roster, on the 53, isn't random. It's a tell. We're talking about a guy who has survived in this league since 2019 on two things this staff worships: speed and intent. 7th-round pick, bounced, cut, re-signed, special teams grinder, depth backer who never complained, just kept running. Over 80 games of experience, almost all of it in the dirty work phases most people don't even watch on broadcast. He's not coming in here to steal Aiden's spotlight or walk into a green dot role. He's here to make sure that when we kick, when we cover, when we're defending a fake, when we need a lane filled on a return, there's one more grown man who knows exactly what the job is and is not afraid to throw his body through it. And if you've been paying attention, that connects directly to what's been happening with this roster in the last couple of weeks. You lose a starter like Christian Mahogany to IR. You've already shuffled at linebacker. You've leaned hard on certain core special teamers, and opposing coordinators have clearly circled that as a battleground. You don't always fix that by throwing a big name at the wall. Sometimes you fix it by calling up the guy who already knows your calls, already earned your trust earlier in the year, and whose entire NFL resume is built on not blowing those hidden yardage plays that flip momentum. That's Summers. Zoom in on his profile for a second. He's lined up for contenders. He's seen every core 4 unit. He's made 80-plus tackles in this league with almost no rhythm snaps on defense, which tells you exactly how many collisions he's had to live through just to keep a jersey. Coaches love that because it's proof of two things. He studies and he doesn't flinch. When this staff re-adds that guy right after reinforcing the message about being sharper out of a bye, it's not some courtesy deal. It's a message to the room. If you're on teams, your job is not optional. If you mess around with lanes, leverage, and effort, there are veterans ready to take that rep. From a strategic view, this fits perfectly with how Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell have built this thing. We've watched them repeatedly prioritize core traits: toughness, football IQ, reliability on special teams, versatility at the back end of the roster. They'll swing big when it's the right time, but they do not disrespect the third phase. Summers checks every box in that philosophy. Linebacker depth? Check. Special teams experience? Big check. Ability to step in quickly without a 2-week learning curve? That's the whole reason you go back to a guy you already cycled through. He knows the standard, he knows the terminology, and he knows who's yelling in his ear on the sideline. Now, does this mean Ty Summers suddenly becomes some Pro Bowl story? No, let's be adults. The point is not to pretend he's Micah Parsons in disguise. The point is to understand why winning organizations obsess over this level of move. When you're playing meaningful games in November, December, and let's be real, where we expect to be, January, rosters get thin. One missed tackle on punt coverage, one guy out of lane on kickoff after you just scored, one LB who can't handle his fit on a heavy look, and you're gifting life to an offense that should have been buried. Summers is the kind of player you bring in because you're planning to win by not bleeding there. It's a move that signals belief in the core while refusing to get arrogant about the details. There's also a real competition angle here I like. You bring in a vet like Summers, every bubble linebacker and special teamer in that room feels it. It's a reminder that jobs are rented, not owned. You don't cover, you don't tackle, you don't play with the violence this staff demands. There's a guy behind you who absolutely will. That tension, when it's healthy, is how you sharpen a playoff roster. We've seen too many Lions teams in the past where the bottom of the depth chart felt like charity. This regime has no interest in that. On top of it, his skill set fits the way Aaron Glenn and Dave Phipp want to play. Summers can run. He's not a stiff. He can cover ground on kick coverage, work as a personal protector type, handle calls, adjust on the fly versus shifts and motions. If injuries or packages force it, he can take limited defensive snaps without the whole structure falling apart. That doesn't headline your offseason, but that absolutely protects you from game plan chaos when something goes wrong at 11:42 of the second quarter in a place that's going crazy. So when I say tie Summers to the Lions and we're going to act a little crazy about it, I don't mean fake hype. I mean this. This is exactly the kind of under-the-radar move real contenders take seriously. While everybody else argues about the trades that didn't happen, Detroit quietly adds a veteran who upgrades one of the few stress points we've seen lately and does it without sacrificing picks, money, or chemistry. That's not noise. That's competence. Before I wrap, I want to pull you into this the way we always do here. You watch this team. You feel the momentum, but you also see the leaks when they show up. How do you see this kind of move? Do you value these depth and special team signings as part of a real Super Bowl run? Or are you still in the mindset that if it's not a name, it doesn't matter? Do you think leaning on guys like Summers to fortify the third phase is exactly how you protect the stars and close that gap between fun story and legit bully? Or would you rather see the front office force a splash and deal with the consequences later? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm talking especially to the people who actually track snap counts, not just box scores. My concise read on all this in straight professional terms: adding Ty Summers is a targeted, smart, zero-drama move that fits everything this version of the Detroit Lions says it wants to be. It reinforces special teams, stabilizes linebacker depth, sends a message about competition, and costs you nothing in long-term flexibility. That's not the move you brag about on deadline shows. It's the move that steals you a drive in December and keeps your season on schedule. That's how serious teams operate. If you want coverage that treats these details like they matter, because they do, stay with us here on Lions News Fan Report. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications so you don't miss the next roster tweak or injury pivot. Like the video to push it out to more Lions fans who live this the way you do. And send it to that one friend who still thinks special teams don't decide playoff games. We'll be here every week, breaking down what this front office and this staff are really telling us with the moves they make.